Somewhere right now, in a locked room, there is a crate. Inside it is one of the most valuable manufactured objects on Earth. An artificial intelligence accelerator worth more than the car in your driveway. And it is doing nothing. It isn't training a model. It isn't answering a question. It is sitting in the dark, powered by no one. Multiply that crate by tens of thousands, and you're looking at the strangest bottleneck in modern finance. Hundreds of billions of dollars in chips that nobody can switch on. So, here's the question this video answers. How does the most valuable object in the tech economy end up stranded in a crate? And who gets paid while it waits? Start with the money. Because the money is not the problem. In 2026, the four largest cloud companies plan to spend about $725 billion building out artificial intelligence. That's up roughly 77% in a single year. Analysts think the number crosses $1 trillion in 2027. And here's the strange part. Even at that spend, Microsoft told investors it expects to stay capacity constrained, short of compute, straight through the year. Sit with that. The richest companies in the world, spending the largest sums in corporate history, and they still can't get enough. Because money was never the gate. There are two gates, and every one of those chips has to clear both before it earns a single dollar. It has to get built, and it has to get powered. Let's watch our chip try. The chip in that crate barely exists. We think the hard part is the wafer, the 3-nanometer silicon everybody photographs. But the wafer is the part that works. The wall is what comes after. To become an AI chip, that silicon has to be fused to its memory in one dense package, a step called CoWoS. And there is no open market for it. One company, TSMC, does essentially all of it. As of this year, TSMC's own chief executive says packaging is sold out through 2026, with waits of 52 to 78 weeks. Order a chip today, and in many cases it arrives in 2028. And most of what exists is already claimed. A single buyer, NVIDIA, holds around 60% of it. The top 3 customers take 85% between them. So who gets paid at this gate? Not the designer waiting in line, the ones who own the gate. TSMC owns the packaging step, the one door every AI chip walks through. And one step further back stands ASML, the only company on Earth that builds the machines required to print a leading-edge chip at all. A toll booth in front of the toll booth. Its order backlog sits near 39 billion euros, more than it sold in all of last year. Here's the reveal. The bottleneck was never the chip. It's the handful of steps only one company each can perform. And our chip just cleared them. It exists now. It still can't turn on. The chip is real. It's packaged. It's in the crate. And now it hits the gate nobody warned it about. We assume plugging it in is the easy part. It's the hardest part of the whole story. To power these chips, you need generation connected to the grid. And in the United States, more than 2,000 gigawatts of power, nearly twice the entire existing power fleet, is stuck in line waiting to connect. The typical project that came online last year spent more than 5 years in that queue. Read that again. 5 years to connect power that already exists. Longer than it takes to design, build, and open the data center it was meant to feed. And the chip waits in its crate the whole time. And the line is reshaping around this exact demand. Last year, natural gas capacity waiting in the queue jumped 86%. While solar, wind, and batteries all shrank. Data centers don't want power sometimes. They want it every second. Firm, dispatchable, always on. So who gets paid at this gate? Whoever already owns connected, firm power under long-term contract. Vistra, VST, has signed 20-year deals to supply Meta with more than 2,600 megawatts of nuclear power. An agreement with Amazon on top of it. And just added 5.5 gigawatts of dispatchable gas. And Constellation, CEG, the largest owner of American nuclear plants, the company that agreed to restart a shut-down reactor just to feed a single data center. If you saw our nuclear episode, you've already met it. And here's the reveal that matters most. We can make the power, we just can't connect it. That, not the chip, is the real ceiling on artificial intelligence. So step back and look at our chip's whole journey. To go from sand to switched on, it passes through 4 narrow gates. ASML prints it, TSMC packages it, Vistra and Constellation power it. And notice what all 4 have in common. They don't bet on which chip wins. They don't bet on which model wins. They own a gate that every chip, every model, has to pass through. That's the entire thesis of this video. When you can't predict which bottleneck bites first, you stop betting on the racer and you buy the toll booths. Because a toll booth gets paid on every chip that moves and on every chip that's stuck waiting. The stranded chip isn't a tragedy for them, it's the business model. Now, before you write these 4 names down, turn the whole thing over. Every word so far rests on one assumption, that the chip eventually powers on, that the demand is real and it lasts. What if it doesn't? The most exposed names in this story are the ones selling a future that hasn't arrived. The small modular reactor companies, Oklo, NuScale, are, as of today, pre-revenue. No small modular reactor has entered commercial operation anywhere in the Western world. Oklo targets its first plant around late 2027, NuScale around 2030. If the spending cools before those reactors ship, the toll booth owners still collect on everything already moving. The story stocks, priced entirely on 2030, do not. And be honest about what the evidence actually shows. Right now, this is a cost and delay problem. Chips arriving late, capital sitting idle. It is not, today, a full stoppage of artificial intelligence. Anyone who tells you the whole thing halts tomorrow is selling you drama. The real story is slower and more expensive, and that's dramatic enough. So here's the board. 4 gates our chip cannot skip. ASML prints every leading-edge chip. TSM packages them and owns the step that's sold out. VST, Vistra, firm power, under contract to the hyperscalers. CEG, Constellation, America's largest nuclear fleet. And notice one name that is not on this list, NVIDIA. NVDA is the chip in the crate, the object everyone's already watching. This video was never about the racer. It was about the 4 gates between that chip and the power switch. There's one gate we didn't count today. The power runs on fuel, and that fuel has a choke point all its own. If you missed it, that's the episode right before this one. So, question for the comments. Of these 4 gates, printing, packaging, generation, connection, which one stays jammed the longest? Because that's the one that pays. Next time, we follow the chip into the building it's supposed to live in, and find out that even the building has run out of room.